let's talk about some other topics. Obviously, tonight, Tua and Josh Allen will be playing. We are now officially, maybe, at 5 backup quarterbacks getting some playing time. Brock Purdy might be back. I guess that is kind of the report coming out of San Francisco yesterday.
Possibly. Like, they think there's a chance. I guess we'll know more today. I still think it's possible. We'll get a better idea today and tomorrow. They felt last week when we spoke with the Niners over the weekend, they're like, Brock Purdy's going to have a chance next week. Not a great chance, but he's got a chance. And that was exactly what they said yesterday. So I think they've been holding out hope that he can make it back. But Mac Jones showed last week that he's capable of stepping in and playing well. He helped San Francisco beat New Orleans in New Orleans last week. So if they have to roll with Mac this week, they'll do that. Obviously, they'd like to have Purdy back, and we should have more clarity here in the next 48 hours, I would think.
Okay, we're pulling for everybody's health. Obviously, this is a lot of quarterbacks out early. You kind of alluded to Jaden on Monday before any of us really knew anything about that potentially being a possibility. He's out with a mild knee sprain. Then J.J. McCarthy, he's obviously out. Joe Burrow, he's obviously out. Who am I missing there? No, that's Justin Fields. Fields is out. It's like, this is very early for this many quarterbacks, or is this something we just don't remember until it happens?
Well, you know what's funny? I said to Ty this morning, I said, like, when you get Jake Browning and Carson Wentz in week 3, that's the kind of matchup that you feel like you normally get in week 17 or 18. Like, oh, it's Wentz and Browning. And by the way, the Bengals like Browning and believe in him, and Carson Wentz has been a great quarterback in this league for a while. But it just feels a little odd to be getting that matchup in week 3 when we could have and should have been getting Joe Burrow versus J.J. McCarthy, and it doesn't go that way because of a couple of injuries here. It is early. This is an unusual amount of injuries this early in the season for quarterbacks. There always seems to be a stretch in the season where all of a sudden quarterbacks start dropping. It occurred a little earlier this year, which is never good for anybody. It's not good for the teams. It's not good for the quarterbacks themselves. It's not good for the NFL. Not great for fans. So hopefully these guys will get back soon. You know, Joe is going to be on the shelf for a minimum of 3 months, but JJ will be 2 to 4 weeks, and Jaden may miss a week or so. Brock Purdy, we'll see if he can get back. Justin Fields in the protocol. The Jets play on Monday night next week against the Dolphins, so he'll have an extra day to get ready. I would think that he'd be back, assuming he can clear through protocol. But yeah, a lot of quarterback questions for this early in the season.
Okay, you mentioned Carson Wentz there playing for J.J. McCarthy. We obviously experienced the Carson Wentz experience here in Indianapolis, and his good ball is so awesome. It is electrifying. It is great. And then his wild Carson Wentz experience stuff is obviously very cardiac worthy, sure. I would say, through it all. What is KOC and what are you hearing out of Minnesota about Carson Wentz, the quarterback that he's going to be for them? And his 6th start for 6 different teams in 6 years. Obviously, people are talking about how that's pretty wild in an NFL record. But what are they expecting from Carson Wentz?
Look, they went out and signed him, and they traded Sam Howell to the Eagles knowing that they could get Carson Wentz as the backup in there. Carson Wentz is somebody who grew up as a Vikings fan, always wanted to play for the organization, went to Vikings games as kids, did the Skol chants, and now he's got a chance to kind of live out his childhood dreams there to go be a quarterback in Minnesota. And look, if he can succeed, that's going to be interesting because that's going to be a direct reflection again on Kevin O'Connell being a quarterback whisperer that he is. If he steps in and lights it up, you're going to start like the way that Mac Jones did last week for San Francisco, frankly, when we think of Kyle Shanahan elevating the level of play of quarterback. So now that's at stake here for the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell. And by the way, if he plays really well, all of a sudden you'll be like, okay, now you don't have to rush J.J. McCarthy back with them going to, with they got to go to
Ireland,
Dublin,
and London.
Back-to-back games before a bye. So again, if and when Wentz plays well, then I think that takes some pressure off you in terms of getting JJ back.
McQuaid's covering the game.
McQuaid is covering both games.
I think McQuaid is on the call over there. Congrats to McQuaid.
McQuaid.
Congrats, Michael. We're happy for you, McQuaid.
Love you, McQuaid.
You need to meet McQuaid. He's an Irish legend. He's your job. He does your job, my job, Ty's job. Goodell's job.
Yeah. God's job.
He does in Ireland. He is one of him and the Irish
pro football
Irish guys.
Derek
They've been banging the drum for the NFL in Ireland for a long time.
The pipe.
They're getting it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They've been playing the pipe.
They certainly have.
You go over there,
chugging the beers. A lot of the beers. They've been splitting the G's. Hop, playing the live music. They've been doing the whole thing for the NFL for a long time over there, and getting a chance to see them, get a chance to do, like the NFL taking care of them.
Yeah.
I think is very cool. I'm happy to see that. Okay, let's stay in the NFC North. You just talked about Carson Wentz potentially being the starter for the Minnesota Vikings for the rest of the season, is what I heard.
Yeah. There's a chance.
What I heard right there.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not what you heard there, but okay.
No rush. Got it. No rush to get JJ back, though. That is good. Got an experienced vet. That's why you pay him. Allegedly, they also offered Daniel Jones. They were looking for an experienced veteran for whatever happens, whether it's injury or, if JJ just plays not great at all, which we still have yet to see. Very young in his career. I'm excited to see how that all goes. Carson Wentz experience could be
Oh, yeah. A1.
I mean, it could. But it could also, I guess, have a little bit of a
like Sam Darnold stepped in there and Sam Darnold lit it up. Like
different styles of play. I think different style. Carson Wentz, they say Brett Favre, gunslinger, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, because he had trust in his arm and faith in his arm. Carson Wentz, not only gunslinger, he's a run slinger as well. Like, he thinks his legs can beat everybody. He thinks his shoulders can beat he thinks every play he can beat everybody.
Yeah.
And it is awesome when he does it. When he does beat everybody, it's amazing. Bouncing on a ball, throwing that thing into five.
Five.
Penta.
Yeah. Yep.
Penta coverage.
Yep.
I don't even know if that's what that would be. Throw it into five people on somebody and still make the catch.
Room.
Yeah, zero.
Zero coverage.
Yeah. That would be exactly what it is. And then if he can, like Sam Darnold, not same as Carson, but if Kevin O'Connell can wrangle Carson Wentz into all the positives,
that boy's gonna fly.
Carson Wentz might get $150 million.
Might have an MVP
this offseason. All right, let's move forward. Let's stay in the NFC North. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Schefty, I'm going to have Foxy run this clip about the Bears. I'm going to ask you about Ben Johnson here.
I think our practice habits are yet to reflect a championship caliber team.
He's a psychopath. I love Ben Johnson. I think this is awesome. Him talking about practice habits, everyone was kind of saying, hey, buddy, you're the head coach. Like, why don't you fix it then? That is a question for sure. I think another thing would be, what about the quarterback? Feels like the quarterback and the leaders of that team would be someone who kind of figures practice out. What's going on in Chicago, Schefty? It feels like it's much worse, much quicker than anyone could have really thought. And is there a chance that we do see Tyson Bagent play football this year?
Boy, we're getting to the Tyson Bagent question in the early part of the program.
It's not good, Schefty.
They're paying him money.
Yeah.
They're paying him money.
Listen, Caleb Williams, they brought in Ben Johnson to fix him. I'm not going to tell you that eventually, at some point, if Caleb struggled, if they couldn't get there, that's a down-the-line thing. And if they do, that's going to be quite the story and quite the conversation. I think right now, obviously, they're focused on getting Caleb Williams right, but there are issues. He has a lower completion percentage this season than he did last season. So, again, the idea was to bring in Ben Johnson, elevate Caleb Williams, beef up the offensive line, get everything humming. And I think that this just shows you it's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to get acclimated. And when Ben Johnson's talking to reporters about the practice habits, sometimes Jimmy Johnson used to say that you don't speak to the media, you speak through the media. So I wonder if that's a case where he's speaking through the media to get a message to the players that our practice habits are not at a championship level. They're not where they need to be, and they need to be better. Now, you could say that to the team. You could say it publicly and have people carry the message for you. He chose to go the public route. And these questions are all going to come up as long as they don't win. And now they got Matt Eberflus coming in there. Their former coach. The Bears have lost 6 straight home games. Like, there are a lot of issues that they have to quiet down. And the only thing that stops all that is a W. That's it. They don't win. The noise, all this noise, going to increase. Get louder.
But is the feng shui of the suites going to be good? Remember
that
Kevin Warren?
That is perfect right now.
Yeah, because Arlington Heights is where. Remember that from Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I watched John Taffer on Bar Rescue, and the people will bottleneck here. But if we do this with this particular direction, We'll have good feng shui. I had no idea Kevin Warren was designing the suites in the stadium as well.
He nailed it.
He's pretty. Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. If the feng shui is good, maybe they'll be good there. Maybe they're waiting to get to that stadium to be good at football.
Smart.
Or maybe Ben Johnson is just trying to put his. There, we have seen this before, right? Matt Patricia, whenever he went up to Detroit, tried to institute something that didn't end up working out. Cleveland, Mangini went over there. He had like 6 a.m. rookie Oklahoma drills taking place, I think. I heard horror stories about that coming through to our locker room.
Flores, Miami.
Flores trying never really worked out, but there has been obviously places where it has worked out.
Yes.
It's better than them. It's better that way, right, than letting the team walk all over you.
I mean, if you suck and you never get the whole team to buy in, it doesn't matter either way. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Ben Johnson's going to stay steadfast on who he is from what we've learned. The Chicago Bears obviously paid him a lot of money to be the head coach. We're assuming that they stick with him instead of, like, locker room needs to get on board with Ben Johnson is how everybody feels in Chicago.
No, it's his show there. Like, he's the guy, and he's got a lot of security there, as it should be. He waited a long time for the opportunity that he wanted and that he chose. He chose Chicago, and obviously there are issues to address. That's why he was being hired.
All right, let's talk about some issues to address. Got big money problems happening. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Schefty, earlier when Tom Brady first became a minority owner of the Raiders, people brought up hey, this is a conflict of interest. This cannot happen. And then it kind of just went away until we saw him in the booth on Monday night with a headset on. And then the report came out, hey, he's actually talking with Chip Kelly 5 to 6 times a week, kind of breaking down the game plan and setting up what they're going to be doing on Sundays. And a lot of people weren't happy about it. From what you're hearing around the league or people that you're talking to, is this going to come to a head at some point? Because I assume that most teams think this is bullshit and they're irate about it.
I think there are certain people, like there are coaches that don't like it. But look, here's the deal. Tom Brady's on the production team. He's coming into your building. You could tell him whatever you want or not tell him whatever you want. And Tom is smart enough and has seen enough football that he could scout those players and know what he needs to know about those players without hearing it from the coaches, too. I understand the appearance of it all, the conflict of it all, but I'm not worked up over it like some people are. I don't think it's a huge deal to me. Like, he is a limited partner in the team. If he wants to go sit in the booth with headphones on and can offer
call plays, shit.
go do what he wants to do. It's his team.
Scored 9 points this night.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's in the building. He owns the team.
Might help.
Can't score a damn touchdown. Let me get these headsets. We got Chip Kelly. Hey, you need to tighten up. What if he is just doing what Carly Ursay had been doing on the sideline?
Would be
What
smart.
if Tom just wants to hear what all the coaches are saying? Let me see how they're communicating with each other. Let me see how they're talking. Because he could just be trying to evaluate his own business that he currently runs and currently owns. With that being said, a lot of other teams saying, well, why the hell would we if this guy's strategizing for another team, why would we let him in? And then Ben Johnson came out and said, we don't care.
Yeah.
This is what Ben Johnson had to say about Tom Brady being in the booth and then also having to play the Raiders.
He wasn't the only one.
He's affiliated with the Raiders, obviously, who you play next week. Are you going to do that pre-production meeting and get careful kind of how much you divulge?
I mean, I've been careful everything I've said since the season started. I've been in pure coach speak mode.
Big pop.
To me, it's just business as usual. I'm just fine. I like Tom, and we have a really good relationship. So,
To Pat's question on Brady, you've got one of the most competitive people in the history of the sport prying around for information in a very paranoid world. How do you reconcile the conflict of interest that exists with the whole situation?
yeah, like I said, I'm really not worried about it. I mean, we change week to week in terms of what we do. Schematically, he's going to be able to turn on the tape and see what everyone else in the world's seeing right now. Personnel-wise, really the same thing. It's not like I'm going to sit down with him and tell, hey, don't do this to Caleb Williams or you might get it. Like, I'm not going to. There's not going to be any trade secrets that are going to be exchanged. But I really don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you.
On that note, Schefty, our sources have told us that a lot of those meetings with Tom have become coach, coordinator, player, PR person, asking Tom questions about what Tom would do in situations, or how like quarterbacks have been taking the opportunity to pepper Tom Brady with questions, and he's been very open, allegedly, wanting to give back to the game. So interesting storyline here that's developing, but with how paranoid all NFL teams are and how paranoid NFL fans have become, especially with what the Patriots have been caught up in, in very public stuff, this is a perfect storyline for some real conspiracy fodder. But I think what the actuality of it right now, who knows what 2 years now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, however long this goes. But right now, I think it's a lot of people getting info from Tom. And what if that production meeting actually becomes Tom spilling the beans on Chip Kelly's?
What we like to do.
It's interesting, Schefter. It really is interesting.
By the way, everybody should be going to him for advice. Everybody in the organization. He can help everybody. Like, he should be helping the coaches on play calls and giving the personnel department ideas on players he likes and talking to the players about being more pliable. Like, there's a reason he's the GOAT, And by the way, Ben Johnson wasn't the only coach. Brian Schottenheimer came out and said he doesn't care what he says to Brady in a meeting, and Sean Payton came out and said he doesn't care. So you're hearing a lot of head coaches. Are there other people who are leery? Sure, there are. I'm sure there are. Big deal. Again, if he's coming into your building, you control what you tell him. Just like if there's a reporter that calls up, like I can ask, hey, what's going on with the draft? They're not going to tell. Well, here's our board, Adam. We're going to okay, but don't tell anybody, right? Like, I mean, you're going to be selective with what you share and who you share it with. Use some discretion. It's not hard.
I appreciate the head coaches coming out being like, let's not talk about how those meetings are going, actually, because, Tom, 2 minutes left. We have one timeout. Okay, what are you I think that is what BA said the same thing. BA was like, those production meetings are all bullshit. They're whatever you want them to be, literally whatever you want them to be. And we have Coach McCarthy joining us here in the second hour. I'll be excited to hear his take. I assume he's on every coach's side that we have heard. But it is weird having an owner just waltz into a strategy meeting with people. It's first time ever, but Tom Brady's the first ever of who the hell he is. Go ahead, AP Tone.
Yeah, Schefter, I wanted to talk to you about 0-2 teams. I think there's different levels to 0-2 teams, and the top level, everyone I think assumes, is the Kansas City Chiefs, but they are still 0-2 with tough games against the Chargers and the Eagles last weekend. Is there any sort of panic that you're hearing coming out of KC, or is it not panic at all? Because they've started season slow, just like the Patriots used to start some seasons slow, and they're probably going to be there in the end.
Well, I don't think there's panic there, but there are issues that they have to work through and correct to turn it around, because we looked at it since 2000. I think there have been 118 teams that have started 0-3 over the last 25 years. And of those 118, the 2018 Houston Texans turned around and made the playoffs. So, the Chiefs' margin of error is gone, and they're in a division where the Chargers are better than people realize. The Broncos obviously lost last week, but they're expected to have a good season. The Raiders have been tough. So I think they're in a tough division, in a tough conference. You can lose games, and yes, we all know the talent and brains that are there, so we expect them to turn it around. But, if they happen to lose Sunday night in New York to go to 0-3, that's a little bit of a problem. And right now, they're missing explosive players on the offense side of football. It looks like they have a chance to get back Xavier Worthy on Sunday night. Jalen Royals, the rookie wide receiver, could be back. That'll also help some. So they need some reinforcements until Rashee Rice can come back in week 7. But 0-2, you're behind the 8 ball. And so you just feel like you're playing catch up all year long. It's tough physically. It's tough mentally. They've won Super Bowls. They've got a champs mentality. They've got talent. But at 0-2, you've got some things that you got to work through.
Okay, let's go to tonight's game. Talking about things to work through. Here's the full injury report. Do we have it right here as we look? It's week 3. So anything that we need to look at here? Anything before we make our picks at 12.5 or 11.5 that we need to know?
Well, I think it's interesting that Storm Duck is out for the Dolphins. He was a starting cornerback at a position where they've already been decimated with injuries. And so that's a tough one to lose the number of players that they have.
Storm Duck, perfect name for a dolphin.
Yeah. Absolute dog.
Hey, Storm, it's a great name, and he's a good player. And they're going to be missing him tonight. The Bills obviously missing those two defensive guys, Ed Oliver and Matt Milano. Those are two losses for the Bills. Obviously, Jalen Waddle questionable for tonight with the shoulder. They're hoping he goes. We'll see whether or not he's out there. If he's not, then Malik Washington would have to step up, and they'd have to rely on other people. But that Storm Duck one is the one that I think, to me, if I'm a Dolphins fan, worries me.
Okay.
From a Dolphins.
All right, we appreciate the hell out of you, Schefty. Thank you for joining us, brother.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Hey, you have a great weekend of football.
You too, my friend.
Numbers
Enjoy
are up. Numbers are up across the board for football as a whole. It's a good time. How about Michigan, Nebraska? How do you feel about that?
Well, do you see the bet that those guys have for this weekend?
The boys. Yeah, not guys. The boys. The busting with the boys. Yeah, the boys. Yeah, the boys.
Somebody's losing their hair, for the team that loses. Somebody's losing their hair.
Yeah, and I think there's a $50,000 donation and also a concession of the 1997 co-title.
Wow.
In this particular game.
Holy shit.
Yeah, obviously Michigan at Nebraska favored by 1.5. Will Compton has to feel very comfortable with this team versus any of the other teams since the Bussin' with the Boys have started the Bussin' Bowl. So this one's the big one. This one's worth $50,000, shaving the whole head, and also a former national championship. This is a big one.
Huge.
Yeah, it's a huge game, Schefty. Good luck to your Michigan team.
Where's College Game Day Saturday, Pat?
We are in Miami, Florida, Miami.
Nice. Okay, great. Well, that'd be fun to go down there for the Florida-Miami game, right?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Schefty, I am pumped to get down. I've never been down to the U. Okay,
Never been there.
I've been to the city of Miami before, yes. Played in a Super Bowl down there. But when you talk about the U, its history to football, its importance to ball, I've never been on their campus down there. I guess we're going to go check it out this weekend. I can't wait. Florida versus Miami. There's some other games.
Sure. A few.
There were some other games that were certainly being chatted about, but I know the people at Miami, from my conversations with them thus far, very pumped to have us down. Very eager to have us down. The juice. I would say that is a good way to describe it.
To the max.
Juice for us to be down there. So that's really what I think is the most important is the fan base pumped for us to be there, because that changes the whole show.
Well, but are they ever not pumped for game day in an area?
Well, you're right. I mean, very shout out to the college football fans that show up to game day. We're very thankful for them. But there are some schools that get game day a lot. And I don't want to say that, maybe there has been a little luster lost by some in some places.
Going to Bama in Georgia sucks sometimes.
And even potentially Columbus every once in a while.
State.
Yeah,
No doubt.
every once in a while we'll go there and people are like, because Tennessee, when it was ice cold, took game day, those places get it a lot. So it's they're very used to it kind of being there. So whenever we go to places it isn't normally at, which for instance, last year, Indiana was insane.
That's awesome, right?
James Madison a couple years ago, absurd.
Yeah.
Just absolutely absurd.
Calgary.
Kansas was sick. Berkeley was unbelievable. Now, obviously, big games have to happen those weekends, but Miami, game day hasn't been there since I've been a part of it, so I think there should be some real excitement.
They were great last year.
Now, with that being said, Illinois, Indiana, the place would have won crazy.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I mean, the Bussin' Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe the Bussin' Bowl would have gone absolutely ham. Missouri, I think, has
They do, South Carolina.
yeah, so that was a big one. I think that people there's obviously big games each week, so there's a lot of conversation here. But I'm excited to get down to Miami. They've seemed to be very eager to have us down there, and obviously showcasing this Miami team, and also I guess Napier's Florida team, because this could be the end.
Yeah.
For sure.
This could be the end if that thing goes the other way. So there's a lot of implications this weekend. But yeah, we're in Miami. It's gonna be hot as hell, Schefty.
My last thing for you before you kick me out of here. How cool, Pat, there's no reason you can't come back and volunteer to punt for the Colts these days. No reason. Just go. Right?
Good one, Schefter. Rigoberto Sanchez, when his time is called. We'll be up 2, fourth quarter, backed up in your own end. Got to flip field because field goal would win it for the other team. Rigoberto's first punt of the season.
Yeah, week 9.
Good luck out there, buddy. Go hit a big one, bro. Need you to hit a big one. He will. He will deliver, just like you do every time. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Schefter.